Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, distinguished guests, and folks of all stripes, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your Houston Astros podcast for diehard Astros fans from a diehard Astros fan. I'm Paul Salazar Jr., your favorite diehard Astros fan podcaster. I'm an actor, writer, gig worker, and creative multi-hyphenate. Of course, I'm a Houston native and I have the receipts to prove it. My mom wanted to have my senior pictures taken at the water wall. I probably should have said yes. I don't know. I guess I just thought it was too cheesy. I don't know. Probably should have said yes to that. Probably would have been cool. I've spent the last decade or so as a comedy writer in Los Angeles, and now I'm podcasting. You know, that's what happens once you hit 10 years out here in LA. You're placed in a polycule and given a podcast. Welcome to said podcast. This is what my brother calls the Paul Broad Pod Ball Blog. Check out spacecadetsports.substack.com for the full blog experience. I started Space Cadet Sports as a diehard long-term fan of the Houston Astros because I find most media infuriating as the aforementioned part of that aforementioned group. Here we try not to be doom and gloom Astros fans, nor do we try to be, worse, the national media haters of the Astros. We try to love on this team and root for them, but we also want to discuss the ins and outs of the team without too much homerism, keyword try. We try to be reasonable and not too hot-takey or reactionary. And now that football season is here, it's time to talk some Texans as well. So every now and then there will be some Texans talk in the feed. We are recording this transmission here in sunny Los Angeles, where I'm joined as always by my co-producer and co-host, the Raws to my Frasier, Carla the dog is here with me. As you know, she may get on mic from time to time, as she is the one with the hot takes on this podcast. On this episode of the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, we are recapping the Houston Astros series against the Oakland A's, and it was a tough one. Let's just jump right into it, Space Cadets. Game one. I'll be honest. Full disclosure before we jump into this episode, it might be a little different than others because all of my notes that I wrote before the podcast started was deleted from the cloud. I am the old man shaking his fist at the cloud right now. I am Abraham Simpson in the meme. I'm going to plow through. I will definitely have to find stats in the moment as I am talking about these things. I don't have my stats, I don't have my talking points, but we're still gonna do it. We're still gonna plow through, folks. So this might be a little more loosey-goosey than other episodes, but bear with me. We will still have some fun here. Game one. The Astros lost in extras 3-4 in this game of extra baseball and extra heartache. The Astros lost in the 12th inning 3-4. It especially hurt this game because it was a great bounce back game for spaghetti. This was a wonderful spaghetti dish that was spoiled by some awful situational hitting. I would say is probably the culprit in this game. The pen does hold it down until late, but truly the Astros don't have enough to win a game against the A's when they just needed 5 runs. Let's kind of look at this here. It was a tough game. The A's did get started off early against Spaghetti. He did not run into his typical first inning issues, but he did give up a home run to Zach Geloff in the second inning, bringing the Oakland A's up 2-0. And that kind of was the offense for this game, for the majority of this game until the 7th inning when the Astros were able to finally strike back and tie this game up. Well, eventually they tied the game up in the 7th inning. John Singleton tripled. Ben Gamel was on first. He was able to score. That was John Singleton's first triple of his career. Got the Astros on the board. And then when John Singleton was on third, Jose Altuve comes up with one out and singles on a fly ball to Zach Geloff. I'm like, my goodness, folks, I don't know. There's definitely something wrong with me when I read. I don't quite know what it is. It's probably it's an undiagnosed thing, probably. But yeah, sometimes I know the names of these players, but when I'm reading them, I sometimes freak out and I mispronounce their names. So I always say no disrespect meant to these players who I have the utmost respect for. I'm not trying. I do have smack talk moments on this show, but I'm never trying to mispronounce somebody's name to be a jerk. It's just me just having a brain malfunction. Truly, I don't know what it is, but yeah, Jose Altuve singled on a fly ball to the second baseman. That brought John Singleton home, tied the game up in the seventh inning. It was a tough rest of the game for the Astros offensively. I don't even think we'll get to the rest of the offense as we go. It was so frustrating. Let's get to something that was a little bit easier for me to talk about in this game. Let's talk about the starting pitching. Obviously, that spaghetti dish was not Cincinnati spaghetti. This was some home cooking, some bounce back spaghetti from the spaghetti man, and it was totally ruined by a tough performance from your Houston Astros. Spencer Arrighetti went 6 2/3 of an inning pitched, giving up 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, just one walk, which was huge. When we're looking at Spencer Arrighetti, we're looking at those walk numbers. The Astros pitchers, starting pitchers specifically, when they limit their walks, they are doing a whole lot better as a pitching staff as opposed to when they're giving up three plus walks or so. Obviously, that is something you could say for any starting pitcher, not just the Astros. But it was good to see Arrighetti have a low walk with 1. High strikeouts. He got 7 strikeouts in this game as well, which, Spaghetti is cooking when he's getting those high strikeouts. He gave up 1 home run. It was a tough one for Spaghetti, giving up that home run, giving up those 2 earned runs. Just kind of not being a great quality start from Spaghetti, but just not enough to help the Astros win the game. And this is not on Spaghetti. I'm not trying to say this is his fault. I'm just saying it's tough that he had just slight mistakes in this game, but those were the mistakes that came back to haunt him and haunt the Astros eventually. But this is not on the Spaghetti man. It's I don't know, if you go back and you look at the blog at spacecadetsports.substack.com, you go back, check out some of the podcasts. I do my, if the Astros are lucky enough to get to the playoffs, who we would want to see in a playoff rotation, seeing that lately Justin Verlander has really been struggling, presenting a lot of questions for Astros fans, such as, do you want to see him start pitching, still continue to be a starting pitcher on this rotation? If you go back, I am in the yes camp, staunchly in the yes camp. I think you minimally give Justin Verlander one more start before taking him out of the rotation. If in the last couple of weeks of the season we are that close in the AL West race, then maybe you consider benching him if he struggles in this next outing. But he's Justin Verlander. He's a Hall of Famer. You don't sit him after a couple of bad starts. You try to get him right. But because of that, you've looked at Spaghetti, who had the Rookie of the Month honors in August and then bounced back or didn't bounce back. He had a terrible outing in Cincinnati. He gave us that Cincinnati Spaghetti. And it started to question what the Astros are going to do if they get to the playoffs with a potential playoff rotation. I think this was a great outing for Spaghetti. I'm not sure if, the Astros have so much great starting pitching right now. I think this kind of just gets him off the chopping block. You're still considering using Spaghetti, of course, as a playoff roster arm. I just don't know if I have him back as in the rotation, in the playoff rotation, I should say, if the Astros get there. Let's check in with Paul's Pen Pals. Let's go to the pen and see how the bullpen did in this game. Obviously, Spencer Arrighetti made it to the 7th inning in this game, but was not able to get out of it. Caleb Ort, Big Shady, came in. He pitched 1/3 of an inning to get the Astros out of that situation. And then in the 8th, Ryan Presley came in. He gave up a hit. He got a strikeout. Ryan Presley looks like he has it again. It looks like he is sharpening it up. I apologize for any slander that I said about Ryan Presley in this past month. It looks like he's finally figuring it out. I think maybe it was just injuries. Maybe it was just a little bit of a head case because those injuries were affecting the way he was competing. And now that he is feeling a little bit more healthy, it looks like he has his control back. It looks like he's hitting those locations. Ryan Presley looks like he is dominating once again. You love to see it. He definitely is coming back. In the 9th, Josh Hader came into this game. Obviously making people nervous because Hader in non-safe situations, he beats those allegations in this game. He does give up a walk. He does give a strikeout, but obviously no earned runs to keep the game going. In the extra innings, we went with Brian Abreu, or I should say Astros manager Joe Espada went with Brian Abreu. With Caleb Ort, Big Shady, getting that 7th inning, there was a slight question mark as to whether or not Brian Abreu was ready for this game or if he was going to be used in this game. But obviously, getting those extra innings, Brian Abreu pitched the 10th and the 11th, pitching 2 innings and picking up 5 strikeouts. So for the people that don't think Abreu has what it takes, I think this was a huge high-pressure situation for Abreu in a game that felt like a playoff game in the sense that the team really was needing to win this and wanting to win this, playing in front of a crowd that wanted them to win. I think Abreu very much impressed me in this outing. It stunk that the Astros weren't able to win. In the 12th inning, though, this is a huge... I think this is kind of like the big high-pressure arms that the Astros are going to go with for the most part as they're trying to get to the playoffs here. The Abreus, the Orts, the Presleys, and the Haders, I think, are the people that manager Joe Espada is going to lean on. But we have so many arms in this bullpen that after Abreu pitched his 2 innings, Hector Neris came in. Unfortunately, Hector had a tough game. He ended up losing this game, obviously his 5th loss of the season. He gave up 2 runs. He did give up a hit. But the weirdest thing about this is if you're just looking at the stat line, you're like, oh, heart attack Hector. He did it again. There was no walks. There was just 1 hit given up, but obviously 2 runs came across. The Astros in this situation were beat by bunt hits. It was so frustrating. The defense was not the sharpest in this game. Neris did have a throwing error. That's why he has 0 earned runs in the appearance. He gave up a hit with 2 runs, but 0 of them were earned. Having that throwing error and the inherited base runner is how you get that weird stat line. But yeah, just little defensive errors, just little things in this game. Looking at the offense, which I really don't want to do, but let's get there. The offense, I said, was fairly quiet when I was kind of doing the summary there. In the late innings, the Astros just really struggled to find some offense. They kept putting men on the bases, but, in the 9th inning, Kyle Tucker struck out swinging in the bottom of the 9th. That was very frustrating. In the bottom of the 10th, Jeremy Pena, you think he's going to win the game on a walk-off bloop single with a man on third, but Daz Cameron just has an amazing play on that ball in right field, and the game is over. Obviously, that's not completely Jeremy Pena's fault, but that was heartbreaking. The bottom of the 11th, there's a man on second, obviously the inherited runner, but Victor Caratini strikes out swinging in the bottom of the 11th. The runner's on third, and Jason Hayward strikes out swinging in the bottom of the 11th. Definitely a not the time to be striking out. Finally, in the bottom of the 12th, Jose Altuve gets some love there for the Houston Astros fans at Minute Maid Park, hitting a double, bringing the Astros within just a little bit more of a chance, making me have some kind of hope. Astros 3-4 at that point in the game after those Neris 2 runs came across because of all of those bunts. Unfortunately, with Altuve on second, Yordan grounded out to get the first out. Kyle Tucker struggled definitely in the first game of the series, and Alex Bregman grounds out to end the game. Oakland A's win it 4-3. Offense as a whole, got 10 hits in this game, but only got 3 runs, 3 RBIs. Super crazy, super frustrating. They were 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. The team left 13 on base. That's just not how you win baseball games. The Oakland A's have definitely been playing a lot better baseball as of late, but losing that close of a game is not what the doctor ordered. Moving on to Game 2. Let's see here. Game 2, the Astros lose 5-4. This was a Hunter Brown game. Hunter Brown, in my eyes, was great, but not great enough to win, and just gives up a little too much. A couple of pitches truly away from a great game. This guy was out there just shoving, pitching intense. Diesel out there throwing 99 miles an hour to strike out Rooker, just reaching back, giving this team everything he has, going out there and competing, really putting this team on his back and trying to motivate them to a win, trying to set the tone for the game. Just the intensity I absolutely loved. And then it was also a great bullpen game. I know Hunter gave up a lot of runs. We'll get to that, but truly I loved what I saw out of Hunter Brown in this game, besides giving up those runs, besides giving up those runs on those bad pitches. This was also a great bullpen game. And a decent offense, but without a long ball threat in this game, we definitely struggled. So let's kind of look at these stats here, folks. Let's kind of look at how the game kind of played out, because there was actually early offense in this game. In the bottom of the second for the Astros, Doobie comes through with a 2 RBI single. I'm definitely skipping some things here. The scoring started with the Jake Myers sac fly. Alex Bregman scored on a Jake Myers sac fly. Then Mauricio Dubon singled and got an RBI single. That was just a single RBI. I was like, that doesn't add up. But yeah, this is how it goes with no notes. A lot of memory, a lot of looking at things on the fly and trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. Dubon singles, puts the Astros up 2-0. In the top of the third, Brent Rooker singles and gets an RBI single, bringing the Oakland A's back 1-2. And J.J. Bleday reaches on a fielder's choice, and Ryan Noda scores on this one on a fielding error by Jose Altuve, tying the game. Once again, another error. This ties the game up. Super frustrating there. Bottom of the third, Yainer Diaz reaches on a fielding error. This obviously errors helping out the Astros in this situation. Yordan Alvarez comes across the plate in the third. Once again, this offensive small slugfest, if you will, goes back and forth. In the top of the sixth, Kyle McCann homers, his first homer against Hunter Brown. This was not what we were expecting for sure, but Kyle McCann has struggled against Hunter Brown his career, but he hits a homer here against Brown, pulling the Oakland A's up 4-3, and Brent Rooker has an RBI single to score Max Schumann, bringing the Oakland A's up 5-3. It was tough, seeing the A's be able to bounce back there against Brown. Just some bad, but giving up a home run to a hitter that he had confidence against, and giving up just another RBI single to Brent Rooker, who just is incredible. But it was a tough one there, a tough ending for Hunter Brown. In the bottom of the eighth, Jeremy Pena was sat and he was pinch hit for Kyle Tucker came in. Kind of made me nervous because the way Kyle Tucker had played lately, you're like, okay, well, I hope Tucker is back because I know Pena has been struggling executing in clutch moments. It seems like him and Yainer Diaz have been swinging outside of the zone, really reaching for some clutch hits, swinging at balls at their eye level sometimes, those high fastballs, those low breaking pitches they've been biting on too. They've just been expanding the zone, I know, but to sub Pena out for Tucker, definitely was one of the question mark moments for me. One of the bigger question mark moments for me for Joe Espada, who for the most part, as you all know, I've been on his side, or at least a huge supporter of Espada and his managerial moves, especially the pinch hit. But obviously, I had to hush up quickly because Kyle Tucker singled on a line drive to right field. Alex Bregman scores, and John Singleton, who was at first, moved over to second, putting the Astros within a puncher's chance of 5-4. But unfortunately, there was not enough offense left in this game for the Astros to win. Let's kind of look at Hunter Brown's stat line here. Obviously, I've been very bullish on him. He lost his 8th game of the season. This game, he pitched 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, 5 of them were earned runs, just 1 walk and 7 strikeouts with 1 home run given up. It might not be the sexiest stat line, but if you watched that game and if you watched how hard he competed, how hard he was fighting for these Astros to win, to keep them in contention, I think you would see what I see in this game instead of just this not great to mediocre probably stat line. But he was shoving out there for the Astros. He just didn't have enough in this game, and the Astros didn't have enough offensive power. Caleb Ferguson came in, and he actually pitched 2 great innings, just giving up 1 hit, picking up 3 strikeouts. I think it's officially time for me to apologize to Caleb Ferguson. He has made me nervous most of the season, but he has done a whole lot better as of late, so much so that I think he's a dependable arm out of the bullpen now, and I think I might have to revisit those Houston Astros bullpen trust ratings. After Caleb Ferguson came in, Taylor Scott came in, he pitched an inning, he walked a batter, Taylor Scott, on the other hand, has been looking a little shakier than other pitchers. He really kind of got away with some pitches that I thought weren't so competitive, but he got out of the inning. He has been not playing quite as much because he has been depended on a lot this season. So I'm not saying you bench Taylor Scott forever. You try to find him some work. You try to see where he's at. You get him back to the dominant level he was at this season. But he might also be overtaxed. He might also be overused. And if that's the case, we have plenty of arms in the bullpen, but you still give him that opportunity to find his way as the season goes. You just probably don't put him in the biggest pressure situations. To finish this game out, Caleb Ort came in. He pitched an inning, gave a clean slate with a bunch of zeros across the board. The Houston Astros bullpen kept the Astros in it, but the Astros were not able to have enough offense in this game. Overall, they were 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position, which for those of you who know what they've been like with runners in scoring position most of this season, this is great. This is not bad. They only left 6 on base. Overall, the offense got 9 hits, but they only struck out 3 times, but they only walked once, and they only got 3 RBIs. They were fairly great at not striking out, but they weren't able to work the walk. They somehow, even though they were patient enough not to take strikeouts, they were too aggressive to not work walks and to not truly get 1 extra RBI that they needed to win this game. It was a tough one. Also in this game, this was a tough one. There was a lot of I mentioned that Tucker came in to pinch hit for Singleton in this game as well. Later on in the game, Houston Astros fans get a huge tough feeling after Chas McCormick going down with a wrist injury in this game. One of the errors that happened that really made us angry was quickly forgotten about because Jose Altuve was forgiven for his error earlier in the game because he left the game in the fifth inning with an injury. They aren't saying an oblique strain or anything like that, but they are saying he has a side strain and he is listed as day-to-day, and we are hoping that Jose Altuve comes back quickly. The injuries sure have been piling up for this Houston Astros team. If you want some extra material on these two games, go check out the Substack, spacecadetsports.substack.com. I have 2 articles about both of these games there. If you want to read more about Houston Astros injuries or Houston Astros heartbreak, you can go back and check those out. But moving on to the third game here, the Astros win one, salvage this series against the Oakland A's, a much-needed win. This kind of, even though it was a middle-of-the-week Thursday game, a matinee game at home without, the biggest audience for sure. People are working. It still felt like a playoff-style game. This felt like a much-needed win, a must-win game for the Houston Astros, even though they're playing the Oakland A's in September. But something that they kept mentioning during the broadcast, folks, I always mention that I watch every single game so that you don't have to. I read as many articles as I can to report back to you. But something that they said in the game was that this team, if you go back to, I believe, one day before the All-Star break, to cherry pick your stats specifically, but if you go back one game before the All-Star break, this team has the second best record in the AL, the Oakland A's. So, they kind of have been sneakily getting better as the year has gone on, but they still are the Oakland A's, so it does not feel good to lose a game to them. So they won this game 6-3 behind Framber Valdez, who plays the stopper, also behind Big John Singleton, who comes through with a clutch hit and is supported by a Jason Hayward homer, who has really been struggling lately. So it's good to see him have a good moment. Presley gives up a homer late that ties it up in the 8th inning, but still gets the win, and with the support of the offense instead of a blown save. Josh Hader also comes in and gives up a homer, but doesn't give up much more than that, and the Astros have enough support from the bottom of the lineup to win this game. I think, in the bottom of the second, Jason Hayward homers. He hits his 7th homer of the year on a line drive to right field. John Singleton is on base. Astros go up 2-0. I'm glad that I did not get on this podcast and say that Jason Hayward was a sleeper agent for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm glad I didn't say that. Hayward has been in a slump lately, I believe going 0-9 in his last stretch of games before this home run. He's had some huge strikeouts in big moments that have really left a bad feeling in my stomach. I always say if you're wearing Houston across your chest, I am cheering for you. But if I don't know you that well, you're a new guy to the team, and you're struggling a little bit, it's like I need a little bit more of a foundation for this relationship so I can forgive you, Mr. Hayward. But this homer goes a long way to help. I definitely, all joking aside, we are cheering on for Jason Hayward. Of course he's not some kind of Dodger sleeper agent. This man is out there trying to win another World Series. He just was struggling, trying to go for those big clutch hits, expanding the zone. It was good to see him get that homer. Hopefully this gives him the confidence moving forward to be more selective and to know that power is still something he has and he doesn't have to reach for it. In the top of the 7th, Seth Brown grounds into a double play, but they were able to, oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know why I'm bringing that. I'm seriously just struggling trying to figure out information instead of reading off of my notes here. But what I meant to say, what I should have said, is in the top of the 7th, Daz Cameron singles on a line drive to center. Jacob Wilson is on base and he scores, closing the gap. Oakland 1, Houston 2. And in the 8th, Presley gives up a home run to Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker's 36th home run goes deep to center field, putting the Oakland A's tied with the Astros 2-2. It did not feel good. Ryan Presley has looked a whole lot better recently. I still feel like he's trending upwards. This Brent Rooker home run was exactly what I just said, a Brent Rooker home run. This kid's legit. This is his 36th home run on the season. This wasn't just a scrub out there. This was Presley getting rocked. So that wasn't a good feeling. You start to worry that this might be a sweep in this moment, that the baseball gods were against us. However, in the bottom of the third, John Singleton singles on a line drive to center. Yainer Diaz scores. Kyle Tucker moves on over to third, putting the Astros up 3-2. And then after that, to help support him, Jake Myers doubles his 19th of the season to center field. Kyle Tucker scores. John Singleton runs on over to third base. Houston's up 4-2. After that, Mauricio Dubon singles on a ground ball to left field. John Singleton scores. Jake Myers scores. And Jason Hayward moves on over to second. The Athletics challenged the plays on the field. However, they were both upheld. Both Singleton to second, being safe at second, and both Singleton scoring and I believe. Both Myers scoring being tagged safe and Jason Hayward going to second were both the challenge plays, both on the tag, and both were called safe. So Astros are up 6-2 at this point in the game. Josh Hader comes in the ninth and in a non-safe situation with the Astros up 4. Tyler Nevin hits a home run off of Josh Hader on a line drive to right center, closing the gap, putting the Oakland A's 3-6, still losing the game here. But Josh Hader giving up that home run after Presley giving up that home run doesn't feel good. I hate this non-save narrative for Josh Hader. I've been saying all season, you put your best pitcher in the toughest situation, especially in playoff games. So, I know it can be a little bit of a mentality thing, but we need him to go in there despite the situation and get 3 outs. He did in this game and helped win the game, but I don't think I just really hate that narrative. I hope that he keeps pitching well in non-save situations to kind of kill that narrative, because we truly need him in any situation. It shouldn't be dependent on it being a save. I don't think that's his mentality. I don't think he's going in there being like, 4 runs, nothing. But whatever it is, I hope that something's able to click so he's able to just go in there when the game is close, not just when we are ahead. I think, sorry here, let's check out the box score here. Let's go to check out Framber Valdez, who had an amazing game. He pitched 6 1/3 of an inning, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, gave up just 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts on the game, bringing his ERA to 2.91. Really starting to have some buzz for a Cy Young, for at least some Cy Young votes on the season for Framber. After Framber in the 7th inning, Brian Abreu came in to get a hold. His 35th of the season. Abreu pitched 2/3 of an inning to get out of that inning. After that, Ryan Presley came in. It was a tough one, obviously, giving up that home run. He gave up a hit, earned run, obviously, that home run. He did walk a batter as well, but he did pick up 2 strikeouts, which was very encouraging to see. He did blow the save, obviously, his 8th of the season, but he did win the game, his 2nd win on the year. But good that the Astros were able to get him out of just the blown save. In the 9th, obviously, Hader pitched, gave up that home run. That's a hit, home run, earned run, and a run. But he did pick up 2 strikeouts of his own as well, which was solid to see. Once again, the Astros do have an error in this game. Singleton had a bad throw to first. So that was tough. The Houston Astros offense in this game was a whole lot better. Very happy to see that. With runners in scoring position, they were 4 for 11. Obviously, not the best ratio, but was enough to win the game. Leaving 7 men on base. As a team, they got 12 hits, good for 6 runs, 6 RBIs. They only struck out twice, but only walked once. Yainer Diaz had a 3-hit game, going 3 for 4 in this game. His average is now above 300, batting .301. Kyle Tucker got 2 hits in this game, which is very encouraging to see, going 2 for 4. And Singleton, Big John, obviously the hero of the game, going 3 for 4 with an RBI. And you get a hit both from Myers and Hayward, and 2 hits from Doobie, who started at second base for Jose Altuve, who was day-to-day with his side strain. Alex Bregman batted leadoff in this game, so the lineup was Breggy, Jordan in left, Yainer Diaz, Kyle Tucker as a DH, Pena, Singleton, Myers, Hayward in right, and Doobie at second for your lineup check for the day. I think truly when you're looking at this game, you're very grateful that the Astros were able to salvage a win. They had to compete for this win. They had to come back for it. They had to keep the game close late and not lose it. Overall, good starting pitching performance, competitive. Good offensive performance. They got what they needed. They got hits. They got home runs. They were able to get RBIs and get some hits in important times in late innings. And for the back end of the bullpen, while it was a bit of a tight game for them, they did not give the game up. So, those are all encouraging things. It's hard for the Houston Astros to lose a series against the Oakland A's in September when they are trying to go for their playoff push and get separation between them and the Seattle Mariners in the rankings. But salvaging the series, it feels so much better than getting swept. I know that it is not fun, but the Astros were able to do it, to come back and to put some distance, at least for a little bit, between them and the Mariners. So let's do a quick standings check here. Obviously, we were the early game, so the Seattle Mariners play the Rangers later today, so obviously really weird to be rooting for the Rangers and the Yankees and stuff when they're playing the Seattle Mariners. But the Houston Astros are 78 and 68 as of right now, with the Mariners having a 74 and 72 win-loss record. They are 4 games back behind the Houston Astros, so we are rooting for those Texas Rangers to take some games from the Mariners. Obviously, dropping 2 games to the A's does not feel good, but the Astros are still in a decent position to win this AL West. The thing is, when we're looking at their schedule, when we're looking ahead, the Houston Astros need to do some winning these next couple of weeks, because when the Astros play the Mariners, we don't want it to be just 4 games behind. We want more separation, so that if we lose that series, or if we don't capitalize on that series by sweeping them, it doesn't hurt so much more, because they are literally eating into the lead by playing us directly. We need to be prepared for that and hopefully find some wins against the Los Angeles Angels, who we play twice before we play the Seattle Mariners. So yeah, that's definitely where we are. Let's kind of look at some roster movement here real quick, folks. Chas McCormick is on the IL, and he may be back before the end of the season. He has a small fracture in his wrist. The imaging at first did say that there was negative imaging, but coming back there is a small fracture, and he will need to be on the IL. However, right now he is saying, at least, that he is anticipating coming back at the end of the year. And I believe he means to help with the postseason push if the Astros are able to get there, obviously. Obviously, as well, check out the Substack for the article, for the injuries piling up article, but we talked about Jose Altuve being day-to-day. it's a little bit scary. Obviously, the Houston Astros are able to win games without Jose Altuve. I mentioned that in the article, but it is not the easiest path to success for them. So we want Altuve back really soon, and we're hoping that this injury is nothing long term, or there's no different imaging coming in later after more testing is being done. I think it's tough to see Altuve out, but it's really encouraging to see the team get a win without him. In roster movement, the Astros brought up Gray Kessinger with the team, back with the team, seeing that Chas McCormick is on the IL. They sent Nick Hernandez, right-handed pitcher, relief pitcher Nick Hernandez, the Coug. They sent him back down to AAA for left-handed pitcher Brian King. I love this move because I love Brian King, and he's such a great strike thrower. I truly, when he was sent down earlier, or a month ago now, when he was sitting down, I even was saying that I liked him better than Ferguson. I really like this rookie arm. He throws a lot of strikes. I like that he's back with the team. I guess with the Gray Kessinger move, Dubon is going to be in the outfield, so Kessinger is going to be used more as a defensive sub, and it looks like the team is not looking for more offensive power for this lineup. They're looking for some defensive help. So yeah, that's where they were going with that. I think, it's not that they don't want more offensive weapons. It's that who is available in the minor leagues, they've already seen what they can do. They've seen what Pedro Leon can do. They've seen what Trey Cabbage can do. They see what Zach DeZenzo can do. At this moment, they're going for defense over another minor league power bat or something like that, because they've seen what the results are, and they like the veteran mix they have right now over the young bats in Sugarland. But I guess let me know what you think. Would you have wanted to see a young bat come up from Sugarland? I kind of agree with this. I like Gamble. Hayward obviously hitting this home run gives me some more confidence in him, but I think I like the Gamble Hayward combo platoon over potentially Pedro Leon or Cabbage being mixed in there to try to find some momentum to go into the postseason. I think getting momentum for Hayward or Gamble is the way to go. Definitely being a tough series against the Oakland A's, I think it is officially time to check out Space Cadet Sports' official Houston Astros panic meter. That is right. Seeing that Astros fans everywhere got crazy in April and started panicking, I made this, official Houston Astros panic meter, Space Cadet Sports official Houston Astros panic meter. If you're on Reddit, definitely put a /S there, after this. I think with all the panicking that's happened after the Astros have dropped 2 games to the Oakland A's, I think it's time to check out the official panic meter. Is it time to move it upwards? As you can't see, I don't know why I think this is a video podcast all of a sudden, but I'll put the graphic up on the Substack. But if you go check out the graphic, where it was not that very high. So it's okay, Carla. It's okay. Oh, she just sneezed. Bless you, Carla. So I'll put the updated graphic up there, folks, because I'm not bouncing this panic meter that far high up, but it is late September. The Astros did get swept by the Cincinnati Reds. They almost got swept by the A's. They have had some good series in between, but it doesn't feel good that the Mariners are just 4 games away. So, how much more am I panicking? How are your emotions? It's 11 p.m. Do you know where your emotions are? Because I do. I'm not panicking quite yet, but since it is getting tense and we do need some good vibes going forward, I'm bumping this up to make amends to your enemies. Or with your enemies, I should say. Make amends with your enemies. I am definitely going out there saying apologies to people that I might have wronged to work some good juju for us. I think that we need to start being the best person that we can be to make sure we're helping out our Houston Astros. If you've done anything wrong and need to make some apologies, go out there and make amends with your enemies. That's how far I am panicking. But moving forward, I think, is this a new segment? Be a new segment. We'll call this "What's the Deal With?" And wow, that was more Jimmy Stewart than Jerry Seinfeld, but we're just gonna rock with it. But yeah, what's the deal with these Astros playing down to their talent? They play to their opponent's talent sometimes, and they've done this so many times in the golden era of the Houston Astros, and it's so frustrating. I don't know why they play good against the good teams and bad against the bad teams, but maybe, just throwing this out there for Joe Espada, maybe just tell them that they're always playing the Yankees. Or I don't know, they got swept by the Yankees. Tell them they're always playing the Royals now. Tell them they're always playing the Orioles. I don't know why exactly the Astros sometimes struggle against these bad teams, but that's just how it goes. Besides just playing down to them, what exactly went wrong? Defensive issues. There's so many defensive issues. I'm really hoping the Astros can put those in the past and get past the yips here. There's also piling injuries. Those definitely don't help. And decent efforts at the plate not being good enough in clutch situational hitting. The bats need to solidify, and can we please stop getting hurt and focus on defense? I think those are kind of the culprits to this last series, but also what the Astros are going to be focusing on going forward. I know, it isn't that Joe Espada doesn't appreciate defense. Joe Espada has been with the Houston Astros for plenty of seasons to know that the defense has been a huge foundational piece for this team to win and can sustain winning and to pick up their pitchers. So I think this is more of the yips than anything else, and I think that they can move past it. But we need them to move past it now. The season is running out of time. This team just keeps bouncing back, but we need some great wins against the Angels. I know it seems wild. I mean, I think the A's are better than the Angels right now, but with the way they're playing down to some of their talent, we need these wins. So we need them to win against the Angels. We need them to take that series against the Padres so that the Seattle Mariners series isn't going to be close. This team is making sure I do not miss a single game in September. Good for ratings, good for them. They're just making sure we're paying attention. Another thing about my panic, why am I not panicking so much? Maybe could have bumped this up a little sooner, but I'm obviously working without notes here. The Astros were not included in MLB's article. Which of these struggling contenders should be most worried? I clicked on that article so quickly, I was like, how much should we be worried right now? I need to know. Even though I'm saying I'm not panicking, we all get emotional after a loss. So I'm looking at this article. The Astros aren't even listed. So, I don't think they're being disrespectful saying that the Astros aren't a contender. I mean, they're the head of the AL West. The ALCS has gone through the Astros for 7 years straight. I think that they aren't that worried about the Astros. They just see the Astros as inevitable. We're looking at it. Fangraphs still has the Astros as a 95.8% chance to make the playoffs, 9% for the World Series. So, yeah, that's definitely down from 98 and 99 where they were a couple of weeks ago. But they're still feeling bullish on the Astros, and perhaps that's because they are a much better team than our emotions are giving them credit for, because they are making us so very nervous. This upcoming series against the Angels, we have, and then the Padres back home for 4 more against the Angels. So yeah, Angels road trip, then the Padres homestand, 4 games against the Angels and 3 against the Mariners. We need to have some space between the Mariners and us before we face them, period. If it doesn't happen, the end of the season is going to be very, very tough. And if they can get some space between them and the Mariners before this season, that series, I'm going to feel so much more confident about the season. But the season is getting shorter and shorter, and these teams are running out of time. Very quickly, we're not going to completely break it down with stats because I don't have those up, but let's kind of look to see who the projected starters are for the series against the Angels. Kikuchi, left-handed pitcher. Kikuchi is pitching for the Astros, who's 8-9 with a 4.31 ERA and 183 strikeouts. He is going to be pitching against 22-year-old left-handed pitcher Samuel Aldigeri. He has only played 2 games on the season. He's 1-1 with a 2.45 ERA, 11 innings pitched with 10 strikeouts and a 1.27 whip. So not a huge sample size there from the young left-handed arm, but it will be a lefty-on-lefty matchup, and hopefully the Astros will not struggle against a pitcher they haven't seen, and they can do some damage against the young left-hander. Then we have a JV day. JV is going to be pitching against the Angels. He is 3-6 on the season with a 5.30 ERA and 63 strikeouts. He is coming off of some tougher outings and looking to bounce back to show everybody that he is still JV. I feel like a road game against the Angels might be what the doctor ordered. I'm hoping that JV hushes all of his critics up. I think there's plenty left in that tank. He's just trying to make those adjustments before the season ends. I think he can do it, but Father Time comes for us all. He's just having to adjust more than he's used to. We are here for you, JV. You got this, buddy. He's facing off against a veteran left-handed pitcher, Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson is 10-12 on the season with a 3.50 ERA, 167 innings and 1/3 innings pitched with 132 strikeouts and a 1.23 whip. And the third game of the series, the probable pitchers, we have Ronel Blanco going back out after his turn in the rotation of rest. He's 10-6 with a 2.99 ERA and 149 strikeouts on this season. We're looking for a good outing from Ronel. He's pitching against very young 20-year-old right-hander Caden Dana. He's only pitched 2 games on the season. He's 1-1 with a solid 9 ERA on 7 innings pitched. So not a lot of innings for 2 games, picking up 5 strikeouts and a 2 whip. So we have 2 very young pitchers and a veteran lefty arm. Hopefully the Astros can do damage both against the young guns and the southpaws, and that kind of covers your Venn diagram of the Angels pitchers that we will be facing. I think that they can do it. They need to solidify this offense by continuing to make smart, long at-bats and not chasing pitches out of the zone. They need to solidify their defensive efforts. They obviously have the talent, and they need to continue to get healthy. The Astros do not need to pile up any more injuries and continually need to make sure that these players that are playing will get healthy and will be ready for hopefully not just a great playoff push, but a great playoff run. We can't take anything for granted. We need to make sure this team wins, so let's root them on very loudly and cheer for them to get some space between them and the Mariners so that we can sweep the Mariners and have no stress going into the last week of the season. Here's hoping, folks. And that's going to do it for this transmission, Space Cadets. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We very much appreciate you here at the pod. We are a small pod and only go as far as our listeners take us. So please smash some buttons for me. Like, rate, review, subscribe, share, all of those things. Thank you so much. It really does go so far. Please give us a 5-star rating if you've gotten this far, or at least share with another H-Town hustler out there that you know needs some love. Check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com, where you can put your email in there in that field. You get every post, article, meme dump, podcast, and occasional video podcast emailed directly to you for free. Or you can get the app, the Substack app, search Space Cadet Sports. You see that orange astronaut, subscribe to that, click on the notifications instead of emails. You don't get emails anymore, you just get notifications on your phone or iPad. I dig that experience. Check that out. Let me know what you think. Reach out on social media and let me know at Paul Salazar Jr. You can find me on most social media platforms, or you can call in. Obviously, this isn't live, but you can leave me a voicemail and maybe get on the pod at speakpipe.com/Space Cadet Sports, Once again, that's speakpipe.com/Space Cadet Sports, and let me know what you think the Astros need to do to win some games and win some series here. Thank you once again so much for listening. Remember to be the best that you can be. Keep your head up, kid. And as always, vamos Astros.